let's get started. Brad, I know your research is focused on how leaders can optimize remote work and really deliver productivity and keep the team members engaged and productive. And so, for teams that are newly forced to work remotely, what do they need to know? What should their leaders know?
Thanks, Diane, and thanks to everybody for joining the session today. Looking forward to the discussion. Yeah, I think one of the things where I'll start is that when we think about virtual teams or remote teams, I think there's often the perception that they're just naturally less effective than traditional face-to-face teams. And in fact, what research has shown is that remote or virtual teams can achieve similar levels of effectiveness and similar levels of team member satisfaction as their more traditional office-based counterparts. Now, the caveat to that is that in order to achieve this type of success, remote teams need to have a number of ingredients in place. For example, they need to have high levels of efficacy, meaning that team members feel like they can accomplish their goals. There needs to be high levels of cohesion and commitment to the team. In addition, there needs to be a strong sense of team identity, meaning that people identify as a member of the team, along with things like trust and psychological safety. Now, people may be thinking, aren't these the same things that make any type of team effective? And indeed, they are. Research has shown these are kind of key predictors of success across a range of different teams. I think that the important thing to keep in mind is that in the context of remote or virtual teams, it can be more challenging to make sure that these conditions are in place. So to give you one example, a lot of research has found that communication in virtual or remote teams often differs from that in more traditional teams, in the sense that it often tends to be much more task focused and less kind of social or interpersonally focused than what you might find when people are sitting, around a conference table and working side by side. And what this means is that it can be harder to create things like cohesion and trust when these types of communication and relationships differ in these types of settings. So what's the implications for remote team leaders? I think one of the key implications is that they really need to be more deliberate in ensuring that these conditions are in place. That means really being formal and structured about the work processes and strategies within the team, as well as really making efforts to cultivate those social interactions and relationships. Again, these are things that might occur naturally in more traditional teams where people are working close together. But in virtual teams, leaders really need to make deliberate efforts to build these types of processes and conditions. And I think often the best time to do that is when a team first starts working remotely. If it's a new team, really taking that time up front to make sure that you sit down with the team and set norms and expectations. Or in this type of environment where a team might have been working in the office and now finds themselves working remotely, taking some time to reset those norms and expectations and talk through how is this team now going to work, and function now that everybody's working remotely.